Well, China continues to reel as COVID cases spread, forcing more tough action across the country. The city of Zhengzhou has the latest to impose curbs, which will run from today. More than 12 million people reside in Zhengzhou, which is situated south of Beijing and northwest of Shanghai. Despite restrictions, major Apple supplier Foxconn says its operations in Zhengzhou are not affected. In Shanghai, the outbreak appears to be waning. More than 5,000 cases were reported this morning, marking a 12% decline from yesterday. And the number of infections detected outside quarantine zones have also dropped to more than 60 cases from over 70. But worries are it could climb again. Residents in Shanghai have been in some form of lockdown for more than a month. And Beijing, on the other hand, will delay the reopening of schools for at least another week as it works to rein in infections. Well, for the latest, we have Olivia Song joining us from Beijing. Olivia, walk us through the situation in Zhengzhou. What are authorities doing to avoid imposing tougher measures as seen in Shanghai?
Well, first, we have to note that the number of cases that have been reported yesterday, only 14 locally transmitted cases. This is a small number, but officials say they are taking decisive action and they hope to bring the risk of the spread of the virus under control during this week where these new movement curbs have been put in place. Now, these restrictions will started running yesterday until next Tuesday. And so what we will be seeing are, areas in the city being placed under lockdown, and in other areas, people will have their movement restricted. Schools in the main city district also will be moving their classes online as people in the city are being encouraged to work from home. The message from authorities is that people in Zhengzhou should not leave the city unless necessary, and people should also not be entering the city as well. Now, this latest news of these movement restrictions had sparked panic buying in the city. These are familiar scenes that we've seen in major cities across China, here in Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, as the number of cases that have been reported has escalated. In Zhengzhou, we saw people flocking to the supermarkets, sweeping shelves clean of food as they try to stock up. As they say, they do not know how long these movement restrictions will last for, especially after seeing what had happened in Shanghai with many people caught off guard and facing food shortages as well as delivery delays. And so that is the concern right now for people in Zhengzhou. To give you some context, Zhengzhou is the capital of Henan province in central China. It's a major logistics and transportation hub. And so there is concern, as we've seen many Chinese cities come under some form of lockdown or have their movement restrictions, what this will do for China's economy that has already seen slowing growth. But so far, we have seen that, for example, Taiwan's Foxconn, which is a major supplier for Apple, has said that production will continue for now as per normal.
Well, how then are things looking in Beijing as the Labor Day holidays come to an end?
Yeah, as the Labor Day holidays come to an end, we have seen that even though Beijing is not under the same kind of lockdown that we've seen in Shanghai, many people here have chosen to stay at home, and that's because of the ramp up in measures that we've seen day by day by Beijing authorities. And you can just see where I am. This is typically a busy shopping area. One would expect this place to be full of people, especially during a public holiday, but it's quiet. And, this mall has been closed because confirmed cases have been found in the area. There's not much traffic on the roads as well. The latest we are hearing today, too, is that numerous subway stations, including this one behind me, have been shut to curb the spread of the virus. And this is just going to make traveling around the city even more difficult, especially as authorities are saying that when these stations are to reopen, will be determined at a later date. And we know that this Labor Day holiday ends today. People go back to work tomorrow. And so we will we'll be waiting to hear from authorities what further measures will be put in place. For example, dining in had been suspended at restaurants for this Labor Day break. Whether this will continue remains to be seen. Visitors tell me that they have been badly hit by this latest wave of COVID virus, already diners staying away even before this new ruling had been put in place. Mass testing is also continuing. This is the second day of 3 straight days of mass testing for most of the population. Will have to produce a PCR test to enter public spaces when we return to work tomorrow. Also, schools delaying the return to schools for students here in the city for at least a week.
Well, thank you so much for those updates. That was Olivia Xiong.